Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Big Questions, Small Steps. My name is Amanda, and I'm so glad that you could be with me today. I wonder if you can guess what holiday we're talking about today. Did you guess St. Patrick's Day? You got it. Stay tuned and let's learn about it together. So, do you celebrate St. Patrick's Day? Growing up, I did not. The only thing I did to celebrate St. Patrick's Day was wear green, which I don't wear a lot. It's just not a very good color for me. But I remember growing up that they typically wore green. In the stores, there'd be a lot of "Kiss Me, I'm Irish" shirts, or there was something about a leprechaun or pinching people. It was a holiday that really didn't connect with me because I'm not Irish and I didn't pretend to be. Now, there are lots of people who do pretend to be Irish even for the day, and there's certainly a swell of pride with those who have Irish heritage on St. Patrick's Day. But that's not how it started. So let's go back to the beginning and we'll learn how it started, and then we'll talk about some of the ways that people celebrate it now, shall we? Excellent. So St. Patrick's Day actually began in either the 9th or 10th century. They didn't have very good record keeping back then. It was the 9th or 10th century, and it started out as a feast day for this man named Patrick, St. Patrick. Now, St. Patrick was a saint because he was the individual that is acclaimed for bringing Christianity to Ireland. He's the one that they say brought Christianity finally to Ireland. So they have a feast day for him. It's a big celebration day for him. But there's different legends behind why there's a St. Patrick's Day. Of course, there is the start of the feast day in the 9th and 10th century, but there's also other reasons that people have or people claim as to why St. Patrick's Day is a thing. So let's do some exploring. Some people say that it's the legend of St. Patrick, okay? That he was such an important figure. He drove the snakes out of Ireland, and he was so important that they had to commemorate this day, which is actually the day of his death. Okay? Now, there are some other ones who say, oh no, St. Patrick's Day is all about the clovers. That's these little leaves on here. See how there are 3 different sets of leaves? They say the 3-leaved clover is actually supposed to be about the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. St. Patrick brought Christianity to Ireland. That's why he has the shamrocks. That's what you're supposed to be celebrating on St. Patrick's Day. Other people say that that's not true at all. That it's just a made-up thing so that it boosts tourism. Now, which one is correct is up to you to decide. But I can tell you that it's much more celebrated in America than it is in Ireland. As a matter of fact, on St. Patrick's Day in Ireland, the pubs or the bars were all mandated to be closed for St. Patrick's Day throughout history up until 1970. 1970. So if the pubs are closed, and that's kind of like a big social spot in Ireland, you can tell that it's not necessarily a celebratory time for the country, okay? Now, the first St. Patrick's Day celebration didn't happen in Ireland. Of course not. It happened in the United States. It happened in 1601, to be exact, and it was the first parade and celebration that happened for St. Patrick's Day, but it happened in St. Augustine, Florida. Now, why there, you might ask? It happened because there was an Irish vicar. Vicars are kind of like ministers or pastors. An Irish vicar named Ricardo Arter, and he was homesick for Ireland. That's where he was from. So he created all these different experiences and parades to showcase his homeland. Okay? Through the years, Irish immigrants continued to come over to the United States. It continued to be an awareness factor, but also a source of great pride. The Irish people are proud of their heritage. They're proud of their homeland. And so this day was a great day to showcase that patriotism and really built the popularity of this holiday. There's lots of different things they threw in to make it more fun and enjoyable for other people. But it was not that fun or exciting in Ireland to begin. Everything seemed to happen in the United States first. Ireland first actually started celebrating St. Patrick's Day more and making a big deal about it in 1995. That's when they decided, ooh, we can capitalize on this and make it a big tourist pull. 1995. I know that's almost 20 years ago, but in my head, it doesn't seem like it's been that long. Oh, almost 30 years ago. Look at that. But it doesn't seem like it's been that long. I remember 1995. I was in middle school. So to think that when I was in elementary school, it was not a big deal seems kind of jarring to my system, you know? So very interesting. Now, in the United States, there's lots of different things that people do to celebrate this holiday. One of which is in Chicago. There's a river that runs through Chicago. They will dye that green. And everyone has always assumed like, oh, that's for St. Patrick's Day, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not why it actually started. The actual starting of dyeing the river green actually started in 1962, and it was used to track illegal sewage draining. They would dye the water to track illegal sewage draining. Now, because the dye was green, because they used vegetable food coloring, they just kind of added that into the St. Patrick's Day fun, and that no longer seems fun to me that they dyed the river green. And now the idea of, what was it that I saw? Santa like boogie boarding on the Chicago River, and it's green. In my head, all I can think of is Santa boogie boarding in sewage water now. That's just where my head is going, and I will never look at the Chicago River the same when it looks green. I just won't. I'm sorry. Now, there are some other symbols that are associated with St. Patrick's Day, and they sometimes have meaning and sometimes they're a little more fun. Okay? Let's take a peek. The flag, the Irish flag actually has symbolism in itself. So the colors of the Irish flag are green, white, and orange. The green stands for Catholics. The white in between stands for harmony. And the orange stands for Protestants. Again, St. Patrick is the one that brought Christianity to Ireland. In Ireland, it's still a very religious country, and there is still a big divide between Catholics and Protestants. So that it's on the flag makes complete sense. Okay, the next thing that we're going to talk about is actually leprechauns. Leprechauns are supposed to be these little Celtic fairies. They're frequently seen wearing these little, like one of these little hats. They're just little people, and typically leprechauns are thought of as being males with like a reddish orangish beard. Okay, the leprechauns are sometimes good, sometimes naughty. In recent years, there has been a big push for kids and families to make leprechaun traps, and some of them are quite ornate. And I remember when I was a teacher, we would have a field day on St. Patrick's Day, doing all kind of mischievous things for the kids to have a little more excitement in their day. Just to give that hint of, oh, you never know what's coming. And that was fun. Always having green paint random places. And we typically dyed the toilet water blue. I'm sorry, not blue, green. And we said the leprechaun peed in them. It's just fun. And the kids really got a kick out of it, and we tried to hype it up quite a bit. But leprechauns were meant to be kind of mischievous, and if you caught one, then you could get all kinds of good stuff, or you might get their pot of gold, and that was a big deal. Now, leprechauns are not supposed to be the main focus because they have their own day. Did you know that? I didn't. Leprechauns have their own celebration in Ireland, and that is on May 13th. That's Leprechaun Day. So if you're going to Ireland on Leprechaun Day, be careful. Okay? The next thing I want to talk about is green. Green is a very popular color on St. Patrick's Day. You will see a lot of people wearing green, and sometimes their shirts will say, "Kiss me, I'm Irish," things like that. Green has lots of different meanings for St. Patrick's Day. It is meant to represent Ireland, which tends to have very green landscape. Also, green is supposed to mean spring and new life. It's my favorite one is green is supposed to, if you wear it, give you magical powers. So if you wear green, then you're invisible to leprechauns. So if you feel like being invisible, wear green on St. Patrick's Day. The last thing I want to chat with you about is what's called a shillelagh. Shillelagh. I love pronouncing that word. I think it's fun. Shillelagh. It's basically a walking stick. Okay? And the shillelagh is a big deal for St. Patrick's Day because in the story of St. Patrick, he bangs on this drum with this wooden walking stick, this shillelagh, and the banging of the drum leads all the snakes to follow him. And then all the snakes follow him. Well, the snakes go off a cliff. He doesn't go off the cliff, but all the snakes go off the cliff. And so there are no snakes in Ireland because St. Patrick drowned them all out. Now, whether you believe that or not is up to you. But the legend of St. Patrick's Day, the fun to be had on St. Patrick's Day, you can't doubt that. Whether you celebrate or not, it's fun to know. And I love learning more things because the more you know, the more you grow. If you enjoyed today's presentation, please go ahead and like this video, subscribe to our channel. I'd love to share more information with you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Until the next time, take care. Bye-bye.